Okay, she be gone every single night. Day and night on my mind, pushing a cute vibe.
How's it going, everybody? This is Untitled Chapter. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright folks, this is the final Haulin games video of 2022. In this series, I'll talk about all the games that I added into my video game collection for every month, and although I'm doing this a week early, because next week is probably just going to be the week to celebrate the end of the year, I thought I'd get this out of the way right now and show you all the pickups that I got for the final month of 2022 for December. Now, obviously, this week would have been a video game hunt-o-rama because I obviously had the week off from work, and I had the opportunity to get 2 weeks off, so I thought this week would have been a perfect opportunity to do that. However, I checked out the weather channel, and later this week it didn't look so good, so I unfortunately had to back off on that, but I still managed to get some pretty good finds for this month, as you can see right here. I absolutely would have liked for it to have been a little bigger, hence why I would have liked to have done that week-long rama. However, the thing is that usually you just gotta change course and just see what you can get, and sometimes you just gotta limit the cost of it as well. And so I just thought I'd play conservative instead of just going big for this upcoming month. So obviously this was all I got, but again, as I said, I really like some of the finds that I got here, so let's take a look and see what I got. And we're going to start out right away with our PlayStation 1 games. Now, the first two games are actually based off of popular TV shows. The first one is a racing game, and this one is called Nicktoons Racing. Now, I know this game in particular because this used to be an arcade machine at Chuck E. Cheese that I used to go to down in Union when it was there. However, I didn't know that there was a PS1 game of this until more recently. So I've had this game on my radar for a while. I'm glad I finally have it, and it is a lot different than the arcade version of it. So it's going to take some time to get used to, but I'm enjoying it so far. The next one, though, is called The Simpsons Wrestling. I've heard a lot of crazy things about this game, that many people say it's probably one of the worst PS1 games that's out there, particularly with Bubsy 3D, and so I thought I'd pick this up and see exactly what they were talking about, and they weren't lying. I've already played this game once, and I played like a few minutes of it, and man, the controls are just very hard. The graphics are very bad, and man, even though it's The Simpsons of all things, I'll tell you something, it was just a very hard game to play. I mean, I might play this with some of my friends, however, things is that it's almost like trash right now. I can understand why many people say that this was an extremely bad game. Either way, it is in my collection, so there's really nothing I can do about it at this point. Next one after that is called Small Soldiers. Now, I know absolutely nothing about the film because this was based off the movie that was released back in 1998. However, this was a game that was released based on the film, and really I was just looking to get some more random games into my collection, so I thought I'd go ahead and pick this one up. I haven't played too much of this game. I mean, I've probably only played like the first level or two on it just to see if I can really get the hang of it and really how this game is, and it's not bad so far. I mean, it's definitely going to take a little while longer for me to be able to really have a full understanding if this game is really good or not. However, overall, I thought it wasn't too bad of a pick for my collection, so happy to have this one. Finally, for the PlayStation 1, and this is probably one of the more popular games during the late 1990s, this is called Mr. Driller, which was released back in 1999, and this is another one of those puzzle games. However, in this one, you're actually trying to drill blocks out of the way so that way you can save your world because, it's under threat or something like that. I found this to be a really action-packed game, obviously, drilling all those blocks, getting some good combinations and all that stuff. It definitely feels like a really cool PS1 game for during this time. But yeah, I felt like this would be interesting. I mean, this would be a really hard game to find nowadays because usually it would be in cases at your local retro video game store. However, I found this one really in the PS1 stack just outside of this. So as soon as I saw it, I went immediately, it's mine. I want to try this game, and so I thought I'd pick it up, and yeah, I mean, it's definitely really cool. I think it's really interesting, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing this a little more. That's it for the PlayStation 1 games. Now we're going to move over to our PlayStation 2 games. There's one game in particular that I'm so proud to have, and I'll get to that in just a little bit, but the very first one that's in my PS2 collection for this month, and this is really just a bland one, Madden NFL 2001. There's nothing really spectacular in this game. I mean, obviously, it's just another Madden game, and usually Madden NFL games are just usually the standard Madden NFL games there are. There's really nothing special in regards to it. It's usually just the same plays. The only difference here is that this is the last remaining remaining Madden game from the 2000s that I have not added into my collection yet. And so I felt like now is the time to go ahead and get this up. So yeah, obviously I have every single Madden game in the PS2 and PS3 collection from the 2000s, and so obviously I felt like that's a pretty decent accomplishment, even though I'm not that much of a fan of Madden anymore. I mean, I used to like Madden NFL 06 when I was playing it during my middle school days, but otherwise it's not really that special anymore. But either way, it felt like it was a game that I just wanted to get in there for no reason. Next couple of games are shooters. The first one is a crime-based game called Made Man. Now, this is very similar to games like Mafia, Grand Theft Auto, and The Godfather. Obviously, it's more of a crime-based game. You know, you're taking on some of the bad guys while trying to fight crime as well, obviously. So, you know, it's almost very similar to those kinds of games. So I felt like I would give this one a shot. The next one I have in my collection after that, I've been working for this game for quite a while. Time Splitters. Literally, this game has been on my radar for quite a long time as a PlayStation 2 guy. And man, the fact that I was finally able to get this game this month, I mean, it was so worth the wait. I'm just so proud that I was able to get this game. I heard this was probably one of the most hilarious first-person shooters there is in the world. There's a lot of crazy characters, a lot of real cool combat in this game, and I just felt like that a couple years ago when I was planning out my wish list for games that I should get, I felt like this was one that I really needed to get. This was obviously the first game of the Time Splitter franchise. I also heard that Time Splitters 2 is very good as well, and so I'm hoping that I can get that game at some point within the near future. But for right now, I'm so happy to have Time Splitters. I've not played the game yet, however, I do hope to get a chance to do so at some point because I heard this game was quite a bit of fun. Last game for this month for the PlayStation 2 is called Looney Tunes Back in Action. This is based off of the 2003 film Looney Tunes Back in Action featuring Brendan Fraser, which by the way was one of my favorite cartoon movies growing up, before I say live action cartoon movies. Now there's a really hilarious backstory to this. I actually got this game as a kid from when I was like in Union, New Jersey, when I was like 7 or 8 years old from a GameStop. However, I never got a chance to play it because while I was trying to take the game out to test it out and see if it works, I ended up breaking the discs just before I was even able to play it. I was so upset over that. I really felt like that I want to give this game a second chance, and to see it up there at a retro video game store here in Springfield, I just felt like I needed to get this one. But yeah, Looney Tunes Back in Action was one of my favorite films growing up, even despite all the bad reviews that I've gotten. And so really, like I said before, if the movies are popular, games are going to be made out of this as well. And so this was one that I just felt like that I needed to go ahead and add in my collection. Moving on now to the PlayStation 3 games, and unfortunately I was only able to get 2 for this month. However, there were both a couple of real interesting ones. The first one I don't really know too much about, but I felt like I would get this one. It is called Rage. This was released back in 2011, and there's a lot of crazy things that are happening in this game. This is almost like an anarchy-based game almost. There's a lot of first-person shooter action and a lot of third-person driving stuff that's also going on. A lot of crazy combat. The cutscenes also have a lot of action as well. I mean, this is almost up there to Mad Max, which was, of course, for the PlayStation 4, and so it's almost very similar to that. There's just a lot of craziness that's going on in this game. So yeah, it's definitely a really interesting one. I felt like that would be another random one to add in my collection, but hey, I mean, it's definitely not worth all the rage, right? Well, I mean, we'll just probably have to see. But either way, it's good to have in my collection. In fact, it is the Anarchy Edition, as we all know. And the other one for the PlayStation 3, this was actually pretty cool, The Walking Dead. Now, obviously, The Walking Dead is probably one of the greatest TV series of the modern era. So many great episodes and great moments came out of that show. And to see that there was a video game that was out for this one, and probably for quite a while now, I just felt like that at some point I wanted to go get this one. This is based off a whole couple of seasons full of multiple episodes, and like I said before, this is another decision-based game. So obviously, you have to make a lot of decisions on what's going to happen in each episode and where the future of the show goes. But yeah, I've seen gameplay of this online, and I felt like that if I see this, I was going to go get this. And so I already know exactly what most of this game is going to be about. However, after at least the first 3 episodes or something like that, things are going to get real interesting. So I'm real excited to have this one, and I'm looking forward to playing this when I get the chance to do so. Finally, for our last games of 2022, we'll move on to our PlayStation 4 collection. And there were a couple games that I added in this collection that I felt like were very popular that I really wanted to get. And the first one of those is called Rocket League. Yes, this is probably one of the greatest games for the PlayStation 4. Even nowadays, after it was released back in 2015, this vehicle soccer game obviously still stands to this time and really is just such a great game. And the fact that I only waited till now in 2022 of all years to finally get Rocket League, I'm going to be honest with you, I feel like I've been missing out quite a bit. Either way, it's super good for me to finally get this one. I mean, I could have gotten it for free from the PlayStation 4 store on the PlayStation 4, obviously. However, I just felt like that, it would be better to actually get the game version of it, the physical copy of it, because, it's easier to be able to have just in case something happens to the PS4, so that way you can be able to keep it around when you get a new one, and obviously you get to play around with your friends. But obviously, Rocket League is such a great game for the PlayStation 4, and I'm so glad to finally have this. Man, if this is any indication, I'm looking forward to getting to play this game. Next one after that is called Anthem. I don't know too much about this, however, I do know it has some similarities to Destiny, so obviously it's another one of those futuristic games that you obviously get for the PlayStation 4 during this time, but I felt like this was another good one that I would be able to add in my collection, and so whenever I get a chance, I'm looking forward to getting to see how this works out. And the final game that I got for the year of 2022, Friday the 13th, the game. As we all know, Friday the 13th is probably one of the most influential horror film franchises of all time, and obviously, there are so many great moments that came out of that franchise, even though a lot of the future films of the franchise really just lost a lot of its way during this time. But to see that there was a game out there, I just felt like I needed to get this one, and really, this is a horror game that a lot of people still play nowadays, even though the servers of it were cut down, well, at least a few years ago, but hey, it's still very popular. I mean, who doesn't want to play Jason Voorhees and go after a whole bunch of campers at night and kill every one of them one by one? I mean, really, it would be so awesome. I mean, I would not be one of those campers if I were in that situation, but either way, Friday the 13th is definitely another good one that I felt like that I need to add to my collection. And for the very last pickup that I got for the year of 2022, hey, you know what? Might be good to add a little horror into it. I mean, hopefully not real big horror, like Santa horror or something like that, but either way, yeah, good to have Friday the 13th. And there we have it, the final monthly pickup haul of 2022. There were so many good ones that I was able to get in this collection, and also so many great ones that I was able to get for 2022. I mean, there were so many great pickups. If you were to ask me overall what my favorite game that I picked up for 2022 was this year, at the very top of the list, it would have to be Test Drive Eve of Destruction, which I got in March. I mean, what a fantastic game that was. All the destruction that took place in that game, and just really all the action that took place in there as well. I just love seeing destruction of cars happening in the game, and so that's my favorite pickup. But all the other pickups, most of them, I really had a lot of standouts as well, and some of these in this monthly haul too really stood up to that. So yeah, 2022 was a big year for Haulin games. I'm very happy with a lot of the games that I got, and there were some that I feel like that I want to take back. But hey, either way, a lot of good games I was able to get. But you know what? 2023 is going to be another big year of monthly video game collecting, obviously, and so you know what? I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what 2023 brings, and hopefully I can add a lot more very fun and exciting games, especially a lot more that I've been trying to get for a while, into my video game collection. So Haulin Games will be back next year in 2023, and hopefully we can add a little bit more into my collection. Anyways, that's going to do it for another video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's blogs, projects, or challenges, you name it. Leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you're having another great day. I hope you're also enjoying your Christmas weekend as well. Merry Christmas to everyone. And as always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.